Hello friends, and welcome to my channel for another custom action figure showcase video. Gonna do this one a little bit differently. For those of you who are subscribers or check my channel out often, first of all, thank you. You know how much I appreciate you. I tend to go through and edit these down. I spend a long time. I mean, it takes me like a whole day to shoot and edit and post one of these videos. And that's just too much, and I don't have that kind of time. So I'm gonna try going a little bit more organic, a little more rough around the edges. That's going to mean, maybe not as clean in transitions or, me saying, so anyway, yeah. But, yeah, we're going to see how it goes. So, let's get right into it. These are my custom 1/12 scale Mezco style Jurassic Park figures. I'm a child of the 90s, and, anyone who was a kid in the 90s when this movie came out knows, like, it just captivated everybody, but especially young children, right? Like our attention, our imagination, our fascination with like these dinosaurs and how real it looked. And my whole collection is about representations, like those little small miniature physical representations of things that I love from storytelling, from movies, comic books, TV shows, novels in some cases. And I wanted to have the representation of these characters in this film on my shelf. So that is what I did. Now, first of all, I know a lot of people aren't going to watch all of this, and they're going to ask me, what is the display case? Because they'll watch the first like 30 seconds of the video. So I'm going to say it at the beginning, and then we'll get to the details about the figures. This is an Elepure, E-L-E-P-U-R-E, acrylic display case. I got it from Amazon. I will put an affiliate link in the description below. I've got probably 20 of these things in various sizes. I love them. They're a perfect way to display your figures in their own little habitat and keep them dust free and kind of give it like a nice look that is a little more polished instead of just like a loose figure on a shelf. So I really like these. I've had a few customer service dealings with the company through Amazon, and they've been wonderful and super helpful. So I feel good about telling you what they are and that you should check them out. Now onto the figures. So the base version of all of these come from the Mattel Amber collection, which is the 6-inch figures. They also had the John Hammond collection, which were like the little 4-inch figures, which are also pretty cool, but I don't collect in that scale. So all right, getting in a little closer here on Dr. Alan Grant, excuse me. I took a Warriors Mezco body, so from the movie Warriors. The head is from the Amber collection figure, and then the clothing is from GPS Lot, which is a seller on eBay who sells all kinds of soft goods for action figures. And I dyed the shirt. It was a light blue color, like what you see on the sleeves there. It was from the Loki TVA clothing set that they had, and so I dyed the shirt to look more like denim, like what he wears in the movie. And then the pants and the belt were from some set of clothing I got on there. I can't remember. The shoes, I think, are some kind of Mezco thing that I got in a fodder lot that I bought on eBay. And then the belt pouches I made from like a NECA Terminator police officer figure and glued them on. And then the watch I made from a strip of brown pleather and just like a little shiny disc piece that I found that I painted chrome. And then the flare came with the Mattel figure. So the head and the flare are the only things from the Mattel figure that I kept. And one of the things about these is, similar to Marvel Legends, if you're familiar with those, they tend to have like a hairline that's kind of like globby because it's a separate piece. So what I ended up doing is actually like kind of shaving it down with an X-Acto knife just to get the profile of it down so it wasn't so big and bulky. And then you can see I painted onto the skin a little bit to create a softer hairline, so it's not just an abrupt edge. It's not perfect, but it looks really good on the shelf. And then I repainted the face with like more realistic paint and the eyes. The sculpt is a little bit cartoony, or just sort of the realism that you can lose using one from like a mass market thing like Mattel. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. And I also padded him out a little bit because the body was real skinny. And Sam Neill is a stockier guy than this body was, so I kind of put a little bit of cotton in there just to kind of make it so he wasn't like super thin. And then with Dr. Ian Malcolm, his body is actually from Noda Studio or Nada Studio. I don't know what they're called. They have different names, but they put out these suited bodies recently that I had pre-ordered like a year ago or so. They were like a black jacket, shirt, and slacks and shoes. And so it was a pretty perfect base. I used the shoes from the Mattel figure because he has these kind of like motorcycle boots on. And then the head from the Mattel figure and the water glass from the Mattel figure. And then the rest was that Noda set. The nice thing about a figure like this is like you can just kind of do the head swap and a couple little details and you're there. I did a similar thing with his hair where I painted onto the skin a bit just to soften the hairline and make it a little more realistic. I also repainted the hair and the face. But you know, this is such a good likeness to him. And because of the glasses, I didn't have to redo the eyes because they obscure them just enough to where it works pretty well. And then I made this little necklace for him. This is a piece of silver thread that I bought to make miniature chains out of. And then this is just a piece of styrene plastic that I cut into the shape and then painted to look like the little pendant jewel thing he wears. And then the watch came with this body as well. So that was how I made Ian Malcolm. Now I should mention the Raptors. These are also from the Amber collection. I bought these, like I was late to the game on these, so I had to pay a little bit more than retail because they're a little harder to come by now. This one is completely stock, and this one I did a repaint on the eyes, and pretty much just the eyes, and it's kind of hard to tell. Let me get a better angle. But you can see how these have a more kind of like golden look, and these have that kind of like cartoony green. So I need to repaint the other one too, and ideally one day I'll do these like completely realistic or at least movie accurate repaints, but for now I'm really happy with the overall effect that they have inside the display. And I want to get one of those big huge colossal T-Rex figures that's like 1/12 scale to go with these, but they're so big and I don't have the space. I mean, I do, but I wouldn't have space for anything else. So it's kind of like one T-Rex figure to go with these, or 10 other figures probably that I want to display at some point. So yeah, maybe one day. If you follow my channel, I like to have vehicles for my figures, and there's actually a little peek behind. You can see some of them up there on the shelves. But there's no Ford Explorer that exists in this scale, and I've exhausted all of my different search avenues for how I find these things, and ultimately I would have to probably scratch build it, and I don't have time to do that anytime soon. So maybe one day, that's something I'd like to do as I sort of run down the list of like, well, I've got all of the cars from stuff that I wanted, so what's left but the Jurassic Park vehicle? And then at that point I can make a larger diorama of like the T-Rex scene or something. But for now, I was really happy with this setup. So Dr. Ellie Satler. Now I posted this on Blue Sky, which is kind of the new Twitter alternative. A massive amount of shit. Like it basically went viral, which was very cool because it showed me just how much people love this character. So that was a lot of fun to see, and just how many people like love Dr. Ellie Satler, how she was their first crush, all this stuff. So pretty cool. But yeah, so like the other two, the head sculpt is from the Mattel figure, and then the boots are from the Mattel figure, and pieces of the belt, and then everything else is stuff that I did. So first of all, I repainted the head sculpt, and I added not rooted hair, but like doll hair essentially. I glued it on top of the hair that was already there, and then repainted the hair because it was this very bright like canary yellow color. I repainted it to match so that it blends more seamlessly, because I didn't have enough to do all this, plus it would have bulked it out too much. So I just wanted it to be kind of a mixture to where when you see your head on and from different angles, it looks more like her real hair. But yeah, and then the clothing was from GPS Lot as well. The pants I think were the same pants as these here, and I had to turn them into shorts. So I made tiny little cutoffs basically and had to hem the seam. The shirt, so I bought a white one and I was gonna dye it pink, and then I found out they actually had a pink shirt. So that was pretty cool, because I was like, there's no way that exists, and then it turns out it did. So the shirt underneath is from GPS Lot, and then the belt pieces are like, I took this kind of pleather strap that I had and I cut the pieces off of the plastic belt that she came with and glued them onto this. And then this is a piece of like twisty action figure wire. Hers came with this cord, but it was too bulky. So I just took like, this is from like NECA packaging, you know, how they tie your figure to the plastic. So I just took that and made the cord out of it. I've done that before. I like the way it looks. I think it scales pretty decently. The body for her, it's very hard to find a 1/12 scale female body that isn't just like massive bust line and, you know, like just kind of cartoonishly proportioned. So what I did was to take a Damn Toys Drawman body, because it's a little smaller than the Mezco bodies and it has a little bit of musculature, and I wanted her to look like, you know, more accurate, like her legs are, you know, they got a little definition to them and stuff. So I repainted the whole body to match her face sculpt more, and then I also repainted that so that it was all kind of uniform. And then I gave her little socks, and then I just made out of like some white scraps of spandex that I had from like a sleeve from something from GPS Lot. And I had to sew her shirt that way so it would stay tied in the front like that. But yeah, overall, really happy with how these came out, and yeah, it's super cool to have them. So let's zoom out a little bit and talk about the backdrop. So the little plants you see in the background, those are from a pet store. You can get those for like aquariums, and I've used them before. Like if you saw my Mezco Predator review video, or my Hiya Toys Rambo. So I'll use these kind of pieces from that stuff, and then this is like a random little action figure stand that I got somewhere for something, like out of a used bin at a toy store. And then this is craft moss that you can get at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever kind of hobby stores you have around. This is a piece of brown felt. I like to use this for dirt because it's not actually dirt that I have to contend with and like have messing up my area, but it looks dirt-like. Also from the craft store. And I'll put some affiliate links for this stuff if you guys want to find them on Amazon too, because they'll be in there. And then, oh, there's another action figure base in the back behind Alan Grant too that also I got from like a used toy store, just to give it a little more texture, a little height differentiation there. And then the jungle piece in the back is an aquarium liner. So I got that on Amazon, and I just cut it to size and taped it in there with the double-sided tape it comes with, and it looks great. So, you know, something like that is a really nice way to kind of jazz up your display and make it look cooler. That's definitely a fun thing to do. Let me take the camera off the stand here and show you some different angles. So as you can see, you know, it's a really fun 3D environment here, and it really just helps bring the characters to life, you know, versus them just kind of standing on a blank shelf. Yeah, let's get tight on that Raptor. I think I repainted maybe some of his mouth too. I can't remember, but yeah, I love these. They're so cool. And all right, here's another close-up of the figures. I'm getting tight on the heads. And at this point, there's probably a lot of comments that are quoting the movie, because this movie is so iconic. You were so preoccupied with whether or not you could, you never stopped to think whether or not you should. Her vision's based on movement, I don't know. Dinosaur kills man, woman inherits the earth, etc. So yeah, scroll down, or I guess off to the right now with the new YouTube setup, and see how many people remember the lines from this movie by heart. So yeah, I'm super pleased with this. I really appreciate y'all watching. I hope this was fun for you as action figure fans, as Jurassic Park fans, as movie fans. And also one last bit, I just want to show you how deep this display is. You can see you get quite a bit of room in there for all that stuff. So yeah, I really love these cases. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this video. I really want to thank you all for watching. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and join me as I make this stuff. I make all kinds of cool stuff on the channel. Turtle Van and those Ninja Turtles, those are on the channel. This Matrix diorama and those figures. I built this tumbler on the channel. I review figures like this Muff Toys James Bond, etc., etc. So yeah, lots of cool stuff if you check the backlog. Also, one last bit of business. I have a new graphic novel coming out. I write and draw comic books for a living, and this is a book I have coming out. It's called CYN. Can be kind of summed up as like Unforgiven meets Terminator 2. So it's kind of a sci-fi western featuring an enhanced main character who is pretty deadly with the blades. And it's got dogs. Definitely would appreciate it if you all would check that out. It would mean the world to me. I'll put an Amazon link in the description. And stay tuned for a trailer at the end. So that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, keep your head on swivel.